This is Gadamnesh. In the previous video, we covered about the stitch type, stitch class, and stitch application. Now we are going to see chapter 5, seam and seam finish. Introduction to seam. In sewing, seam can be joined where two or more layers of fabric, leather, or other materials are held together with a stitch. Seam in modern mass production, apparel, footwear, household textile, and sport goods are sewn by industrial sewing machine. Home shoe making, dressmaking, quilting, craft, haute couture, and tailoring may use the combination of hand and sewing machine. A seam is where one or more pieces of fabric joined together. This is usually done by stitch them, but in some cases, seam can also be glued or bound together using heat or adhesive. Sometimes this seam should be used or glued or bound by heating or by another adhesive material. Seam should be done, not only sewing, but also seam can also used glued or bound together using heat or adhesive. Seams can vary in appearance and construction method, depend upon the type of fabric, the purpose of the garment, and the desired looks. Especially, these seams can vary from their own appearance, their own construction. This also vary based on or depend upon the type of fabric, purpose of the garment, and the desired looks or aesthetics. Also depend upon the appearance and the construction method. Many beginners fashion designer confuse seams with a stitch. You will see seam and stitch. This line already is seam, and the single unit, this one, the circle, the yellow circle, this up to this is a stitch. The total continuous lines are seam. Seam, this one is seam, and this one is the single unit as a stitch. So the difference between the two is the seam is the line, or all a group of stitches are seam. A stitch is a single unit of the stitch. In clothing construction, seams are classified by their type, like plain, lapped, bound, and flat seams are a good example. And this seams position in the finished garment, center back seam, inseam, and side seam. Mostly the seam already finished in a garment, center garment or center back garment, or inseam and side seam. Seam are finished with a variety of techniques to prevent revealing of raw fabric edges and the knitting the inside of the garment. Especially seams are finished with variety of techniques. Seams have different variety techniques that can be used to prevent raveling of the raw edge of the fabric. Seam used for assembling sewing products are loaded bearing, and ideally should be similar in physical properties to the material being sewn. The stitch and the sewing thread use will vary with each application. If there is a stitch type and sewing thread, the stitch type and the sewing thread used in vary with each application. There is vary from each application. Maybe the working clothes, maybe the occasional clothes, or maybe sportwear. Also, this clothes are different applications, so a stitch type and thread type should be vary. Hence, it is important to be familiar with various seam types, their application and variation available, so that you can choose the right seam to suit your sewing needs. By the way, the sewer should be select appropriate seam based on the garment type. Seam like flat seam, superimposed seam, lapped seam, bond seam, ornamental stitch seam, and edge finish stitches are a type of seam. Seam can be classified in the two groups. Seam can either by open seam or closed seam. An open seam is one where the seam allowance or the piece of fabric between the edge of the material and the stitch is visible. Open seam, a good example for this open seam is superimposed seam is examples of open seam. A closed seam incorporates the seam allowance within the seam finish makes it invisible. This closed seam is the seam finish is invisible, but open seam is the seam finish is visible. A good example for closed seam is French seam or flat filled seam or lapped seam is a good example for this closed seam. A few terms related to stitch or seam. Cutting line, stitching line, or seam line, seam allowance are terms or terminologies that can be occur in the stitch or the seam. A cutting line, it is the line on which the garment is cut out. The stitch line or seam line is the line on which the seam is sewed. Seam allowance, it is the distance between the edge of the fabric to that of the cutting line. This seam allowance distance from the edge of the fabric to the parallel stitch line. Furthest from the edge, usually 5/8 or 1.5 centimeter. Most of the time, seam allowance 5/8 inch or 1.5 is standard. Some pattern allow more in some area and some allows less. Maybe based on the interest of the customer, the sewer or the designer should add maybe the seam allowance or not. That is based on the interest of the customer. Otherwise, the standard is 5/8 inch or 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Classification of this seam, this classification can be classified according to the ISO standard, ISO 1991, ISO 4916, 1991. This seam classified class 1 up to class 8, plain or French seam, class 1, class 2 welt seam, class 3 bond seam, class 4 channel seam, class 5 ornamental seam, class 9 turn hem class 7 edge stitch seam, class 8 enclosed seam. These classes are already classified according to the ISO standard. You see the first one, a flat seam. A flat seam, sometimes called boot seam. Two fabric edges, flat or folded, are brought together and overseen with a zigzags or lock stitch or chain stitch or cover stitch or class 600. This flat seam should be done with a zigzag, lock stitch or chain stitch or cover stitch or class 600. The purpose is to produce a join where no extra thickness of fabric can be tolerated as the seam, as in underwear or in foundation garment should be done with this seam type. Because this flat seam doesn't have extra seam allowance, you will see this picture, this seam type already a zigzag seam type. The looper threads must be soft yet strong, and the cover thread may be decorative as well as strong. Because of if there is no extra seam allowance, better to use a decorative stitch when the covering of the two pieces of fabric. It is better to cover the two pieces of fabric. So use a strong and decorative seam type, that is a flat seam. A flat seam offers minimal bulk by putting fabric layers flat against each other and stitching them together with a straight or a zigzag stitch. In this type of seam, the fabric joined together do not overlap and are simply held together by a stitch. You will see this stitch type. This one is zigzag. So there is no extra seam allowance. Already the two pieces of fabrics joining each other. Look at the flat seam fabric configuration and location of needle penetration. The two pieces of fabrics already prepared like this. So joining these two pieces of fabric by zigzag or a cover stitch, no extra layer or extra seam allowance. The location of needle penetration shows the red color like this. Maybe if there is only one stitch or two stitch, or if you want, you should have to fold the edge of the fabric. And if it is necessary, the sewer should be add another piece of fabric and fold the main fabric and join this type of or a flat seam type. So this is fabric configuration and location of needle penetration of a flat seam. Another type of seam is superimposed seam. This seam is open seam type. This generally starts with two or more pieces of material superimposed over each other and join near an edge with one or more row of stitch. It is possible to more than one row of stitch in superimposed according to the application of the garment. Based on the garment type, you should have to use one or more row of stitch in this superimposed stitch type, seam type. The most common type of seam in garment construction, the superimposed seam, is formed by placing fabric layers on the top of each other and stitching them together with a straight stitch. This superimposed seam normally joins the two pieces of fabric in overlapping together in a straight stitch. It can be a stitch with together. This stitch can be locked stitch, chain stitch, or serged stitch. A superimposed seam can be sewn with a stitch 301 or 401 to create a simple seam. Superimposed seam mostly used 301 or lock stitch or multi-thread chain stitch 401. It can be created a simple seam. A good example for this superimposed seam already done with the basic garment construction, joining of side seams, outer leg of calf, or waistbands collars should be done with this seam type. The same seam type can also be sewn with the stitch class 500 over edge stitch or the combination of a stitch like 506 to create neat load bearing seams for linger or shirts. When you use this shirt or linger, you should have to use the combination stitch that is a class 500 or a stitch class 516. The fabric configuration of this superimposed seam, you see this picture, one piece of fabric overlapped to another. Then use a seam allowance 5/8 inch or 1.5 centimeter, enough. The needle penetration or location of needle penetration pass the red one, this one. This is assumed like a fabric one fabric or the upper and the lower fabric overlap, then stitch here. And the next one is superimposed seam type, but there is edge finishing, there is seam finish, and here the edge of the fabric should be finished and any finishing type. And the other also, if the garment doesn't need seam allowance finish, the swear should be done like this, 2 or 1 stitch should be used, or the other one is 2 and other as edge finish. So normally there is 3 or 2 or 1 stitch should be done in superimposed seam. Lapped seam is another type of seam. This lapped seam is using 2 or more places of material lapped, that is with edge overlapped, plain or folded, and joined with 1 or more row of stitches. Using 1 or more row of stitch like a superimposed seam. So these 2 or more places are lapped in each other. The lapped felt type involves only one stitching operation. A strong seam with fabric edge protects from frying. This type of seam used to protect fabric frying because the two pieces of fabric edge is already folded. So it can be prevented fabric frying. You will see this picture. This edge of the fabric already fold and another one is fold. So there is no extra seam allowance or there is no frying. It can be protect frying. Commonly used making of jeans or similar garments. Side seam and inseam of denim jeans. Button down shirt seams. Outer wear seam and yoke seams should be done with this type of or with this lapped seam. Especially denim jeans, button down, shirt seam, outer wear seams, and yokes should be done with a lapped seam. Lapped seam fabric configuration. This two pieces of fabric. This one is a light green and that one is a dark green. So they are overlap on each other. One edge of fabric hidden to another. So there is no extra seam allowance. This seam type is a good example for close seam type. Close seam type. No extra seam allowance. Location of needle penetration, you will see the red one is shows that the starting of or this is the penetration of the needle. The two edge of the fabric or the two piece of fabric edge is fold. This one, and there is only one stitch. This one is a 2 stitch, and this one is 1 stitch and 2 stitch. If you want, you should have to use 3 stitches. So more than 1 stitch should be used for this lapped seam. You will see this lapped seam in a practical. This video shows lapped seam. First of all, prepare the 2 pieces of fabric and then fold the edge of the fabric or the seam allowance of the fabric. Fold and press properly. Then overlap one piece to another one and then check the fold seam allowance and give to the pressure foot and hold with the pressure foot and start to sew. During the sewing, the operator should be check the back part of the fabric. Maybe if correctly folded or not. So after sewing or after finishing the first swing. Again, it needs to another stitch line, because this lap seam has 2 stitch. Thank you for watching this video.